Okay, welcome everybody. We are here in the third shir, Torah Zayin in Likutei Moharan, Chelik Aleph. And some special things we're going to see today. There's very, very practical things in this Torah, and a couple of things we're going to look at just slightly more in depth about the concepts from last week, and then we'll move on to the new sections. We will probably, it's possible that we could finish this Torah today, but I think we'll take this week and next week to finish this Torah probably. So let's just do a quick review of the flow of this Torah first of all. So we said first that the essence of Emunah is connected to Tefillah and Nisim. The essence of Emunah is connected to prayer and miracles and the land of Israel, Eretz Yisrael. And that they're all interconnected. If you remember that, Emunah means that I have this amazing connection to Hashem, and I believe and understand and live with the fact that I understand that Hashem can change nature. And every moment He can recreate the world in a different way and change the way things are going at the current moment. So therefore, since I have that Emunah, now that means I believe in miracles, because a miracle, nes, means exactly that the regular course of nature is uprooted and changed. And since I have Emunah, and now I'm connected to miracles, nisim, of course now I can daven, now I can have tefillah, prayer, right? Because obviously I can talk to Hashem and ask for things to happen because I believe that He can really do it, right? Clear. And we said that also that this concept is totally the antithesis of Egypt, of Mitzrayim. And over there, it was the opposite. There's tumah, and it's hidden from miracles. Prayer can't happen there, right? Moshe Rabbeinu had to go out of the city in order to pray because of all the tumah and idolatry and everything. And so we see that Mitzrayim is the opposite of it. We then said that the ultimate geula, the ultimate redemption Mashiach coming, will come as a result of tremendous emunah. As we said, with the pasuk told us that they're going to be Berosh Amana. We're going to come to Eretz Yisrael and stand out on this mountain that overlooks the Eretz Yisrael, which is called Amana. At the top of it, Rosh Amana, the top of that mountain, Amana, which is really, those words actually mean Rosh Amana, from the high level, the Rosh, the top level of Emunah is when Mashiach's going to come. Right? And then we said that how do we get to Emunah is through emes. We can't have proper Emunah without emes, without truth. Truth and emes have to go together. Truth and emunah have to go together. If we don't start with emes, if we don't always have an aspect of truth attached to us, then our emunah can be in anything. We could start to believe, as we were just talking, we could start to set up a tree in our house, and we could start to worship the wall. We could start to, who knows what we could do. We could do anything, right? So it's got to be interconnected with emes. And we said that emes is really only possible with connection to true tzaddikim and listening to their advice. And we said that the advice of tzaddikim is really a form of like marriage, and almost a form of like it corresponds to the physical union between a man and a woman, receiving advice from a tzaddik, right? So we said back then that a person has to be very careful, because when we receive the advice of someone and we take it to heart, it's ki'ilu, we are bringing that into ourselves like a pregnancy, and we're allowing it to grow within ourselves and to shape who we are and to become something, right? It's not just a nice thing hearing from somebody, right? So we have to be very careful with that and make sure that we're receiving the zeras emes, the true seed of true advice of truth from a tzaddik. And it's through this that we'll be able to achieve high levels of emunah, because this tzaddik will help us to get the truth and help us to get the strong level of emunah. And then we're going to move on to, we're going to see today how this relates to the concept of tzitzis, and then go on to the story of Rabbi Baruch Hana. Welcome, Elishava. You just missed the review, so you're good. So, so I want to just bring out a couple ideas here first. I've been thinking about this a lot this week. Geschmack stuff here. So what did we say? We said, if you remember, we made very, very careful to say the ABCs of Emunah. That Emunah does not mean just that I believe in something, right? That I've figured out in my mind that there's such thing as Hashem. and that Hashem runs the world. It doesn't mean that. It means that my whole existence is like infused with this idea that Hashem is the creator, and that Hashem is infinite, and that Hashem runs the world, and that everything that happens to me is from Hashem to guide me, and that everything is for my good, and everything is a message for me. It's living very strongly in this realm. And it's my whole being, my whole essence. As we said, I was actually learning Mishnayos with my son today, and in the second parak of Brachas, and one of the Mishnahs in the beginning there says, Ha'umanim, who are Berosh Ha'ilan. If a craftsperson, a worker, who's still on the top of a tree doing his thing, he's allowed to say Shema up there, says the Mishnah, right? And it struck me that we just talked about this word, Uman, as it connects to the word Emunah. And that an Uman, a craftsperson, is someone who's so imbued with his craft and so all-encompassed with his craft that it just happens. It's like it's part of him. It's the way he lives. There's no thinking. It's not like, it doesn't even need planning. He could just build something. He could just sculpt something. They could just paint something. It just comes out, right? That's the idea of this emunah. It's all-encompassing emunah. So this is the emunah that we're talking about here. This is the emunah that is going to bring Mashiach. This is the emunah that we read in the Garden of Emunah, right? This is the emunah that we see in all of Rebbe Nachman's writings. This is the emunah that we're talking about. Not just an intellectual recognition of something, but a whole existence that's interconnected with this concept. I'm living emunah, right? So yeah.
You're trying to say that whenever there's emunah, Mashiach will come?
Okay, no?
So, I guess I learned the Mashiach will come whether we deserve it or we don't deserve it. Right? So if we have emunah, in that case, we deserve it.
So you're asking on the Rambam, Ani Mamin, Be'emunah Shlema, right? So how's that a good question? We say, Ani Mamin, Be'emunah Shlema. I believe with perfect emunah. I have emunah with perfect emunah. Bevias HaMashiach, in the coming of Mashiach, right? That he's going to come. So put our lens of emunah around this, frame this picture with our frame of emunah, and it means, it's wrong if you say it just means that, I think I've read a few books, and now I really think that Mashiach's going to come. That's not anima min be'emunah shlema. I think it might be correct, or I think it's correct that Mashiach's going to come. Anima min be'emunah shlema, with full, complete emunah, means Mashiach's coming, and I know it's happening. I believe it's happening. Therefore, it's going to affect the way I live my life. And I'm going to live my life. It's going to be a part of my existence that Mashiach is coming. That's ani ma'amin be'emunah shlema, right? It's a whole different existence. So I want everybody to just understand this, because we're going to see how this is all connecting, and it's one of my favorite things about Rebbe Nachman's Torahs and about Breslov in general. But Rebbe Nachman's Torahs, Breslov in general, is not for someone who wants to just, have a normal life and have a little bit of Jewish spice on it, right? And have some intellectual learning here and there. Breslov Torah and Rebbe Nachman is for someone who wants to live what they're thinking and live the ideals, right? So emunah is a whole way of existence, according to Rebbe Nachman. So now, we said after this, welcome, that there's also, in order to have emunah, it has to be anchored in emes. It has to be connected to emes, to truth. Okay, so there's just a couple of ideas, very strong all over the place in Rebbe Nachman's Torahs, but one in particular that I think is so important and so practical to every single person. It's pretty amazing. Emunah means truth, right? So, oh my gosh, I could. Sorry. Thank you very much, everybody. Emes means truth. Emes means truth. And I could talk about emes for like 2 hours right now. There's so much amazing stuff about emes, but we can't pull it all together now, because we'll have 5 more shiurim in this one Torah if we do this. But let's uncover it a little bit and pull out some of the deeper aspects of emes that we can use to help to live our lives. So, like this. In Torah, Nun Beis, Nun Aleph, Torah Nun Aleph, in the first section of Likutei Moharan. It was a Torah that was said over on Shavuos, and it's a very, very beautiful Torah. But it starts by saying that before any aspect of creation took place, before any Kabbalah, before anything, there was just the infinite light, infinite unending light of Hashem, what's called the Or Ein Sof, right? Nothing else could possibly exist in this time. And what does that mean? It means that there's no time, there's no space. Even if you could start to think about existing in this place of 100% just light of Hashem, imagine existing in a realm where everywhere you would look, there's nothing but a thick, tangible light, right? That blocks everything and exists everywhere. And if you would move over, say 20 feet to one side, you'd still be exactly in the middle. You'd have no point of reference because there's nothing else in existence except this completely uniform, universal, unending light. It's absolute oneness, to the extent that if you were able to think about yourself in this way, in this deep way, being in that situation, you have to be able to, at some point, remove yourself from that situation. Because if you exist within that light, that means that there's an end. Wherever your body begins, there's an end to that light. So it's no longer infinite. So in other words, nothing else can exist at the same time as absolute infinity. Everybody with me on this? Mm-hmm. I know it's a simple topic. Right? Nothing else can exist. So there's only the absolute oneness of the Or Ein Sof, of the infinite light of Hashem. And at that point, there is absolute truth, absolute emes, 100% emes. Why? Because there's nothing else. There's literally nothing else in existence. It's 100% truth, 100% Hashem, 100% infinite light. There's nothing else in existence. So when creation started happening, and Hashem made the tzimtzum and hollowed out an area of nothingness, what's called the Chalal Panui in Kabbalah, the empty void, right? Made this void with nothing in it. And then started creation to happen slowly. Just a little bit of light came in and started the first universe. And then all of the universes were slowly created with this little bit of light. But at the very beginning, when the light started coming in, is that right at those very, very high levels is the first time where there starts to be any separation. And there starts to be, like in this world we have machlekes, we have fights and we have anger, right? And we have judgment, right? So somewhere way up there started to be just a little bit of separation into, let's say, for example, chachma and bina, wisdom and understanding, which we don't think of as being separate sources, different ideas that go against one another. But really, chachma is the root of chesed, and bina is the root of gevura, right? And gevura is the root of din. And we see just the beginning, there started to be separations and disparity and multiplicity, right? So when there's only one ratzon, one will, one desire, one will, there's no chance of anything but 100% emes. But as soon as you start to have more than one will, more than one ratzon, desire, more than one will, now you start to create the possibility for conflict and the possibility for different realities and different aspects of truth, of emes. Everybody with me on this? I know it's theoretical to us, but it's really an important way to understand it. So really, there is one ultimate truth. That one ultimate truth is the infinity of Hashem, just Hashem. Very well said. So Rebbe Nachman explains it in this way. He says that truth is really one thing. He says if you have imagine this was a gold cup. Bless me that one day I should have a gold cup. No, imagine I'm holding a gold cup, right? Thank you. So I'm holding a gold cup, right? So there's one truth, that it's a gold cup. There's a lot of sheker. You could make sheker that it's a white ceramic cup, like this one. You could say sheker that it's a wooden cup. You could say sheker that it's a silver cup. But this is a crude example. But to say that there's one truth and the falsehood is many, many, many things, right? So this is the concept of what Rebbe Nachman refers to as emes la'amito, absolute 100% truth, right? And this is exactly like what we just said, that truth, emes, on its highest level, emes la'amito, is just Hashem, and that Hashem is everything. There's nothing else to discuss, right? But now there's a lower level of emes, which is just what we call emes, right? And that means that each person, based on their perspective, based on the way that they were brought up, based on the way that they interact with the world, is going to have a certain truth that they believe to be the truth. And another person is going to have another truth. They could be looking at the same situation and both have a sense of truth, but they can be arguing against each other, right? This is the way that ultimate truth can break down into different truths, and now machlekes, and now fighting, now riv. Okay, so when we're walking through the world now, keeping in mind what we just said about the Torahs of Rebbe Nachman and about Breslov, that it means this is my life. It's not just a nice idea to think about. This is my life. There is a truth that is my truth, and then there is the ultimate truth that of Hashem. And then even below my truth are places where I stray from the truth. Right? So how is it that the truth and emes and emunah are all connected? So imagine just like a situation. Imagine you have a husband and wife, right? And I know no one will have ever experienced this before, but let's just say, theoretically, a husband and wife had a disagreement, right? So what is it in that disagreement that makes that disagreement stand and gives that disagreement strength and makes it a strong disagreement? What happens over there, right? So there's a few things that can happen. First of all, this is really a place where you can see two different perspectives of emes. Without getting too deep, each side will really think that they're right. You know, and one person will be, and attached to this argument they're having will be a whole history of everything that's led up to that. And, you know, maybe, I'm just making this up, but let's just say, maybe, you know, the wife will come in and see that the husband left a bunch of stuff out and didn't put it away, right? I know everybody's laughing, but could be, theoretically, this might happen. And they see things left out. I'm making this up. And so the wife will get upset. And if this has happened a bunch of times or there's other things going on, maybe she'll start to think, you know, can't this guy put some stuff away? Can't he help me out? Why do I have to clean up the whole house? And attached to that is all these other things that have happened, and the fact that she doesn't feel valued, and that she is going through her own issues and has maybe some self-esteem issues, and it all comes up into this one place right now, boom! And it starts to create a machlekes. And then the husband is thinking, well, seriously, you're going to get into this? Do you know what I did today? I went out and I was working and I did this and I did that, and, you know, I went shopping, and I'm a good husband, right? Why are you getting upset with me for this little thing over here? Right? And his self-esteem is now being injured. And all the things that she's ever said to him in the past are coming up. Both of their egos are standing up and they're starting to fight. Right? What's happening? They each have their own emes. Yeah, what are you going to say, Sandra? Yeah. So they both have their own emes, what they think is the emes. And their egos are coming up and they're starting to rage, right? To protect the fact that they're being threatened. Each one is standing up to protect the fact that they're being threatened, and boom, you have this big argument. Or so I've heard. Could happen, theoretically. Such a thing could happen, potentially. So, that's a good example, I believe, of individual, subjective emes, right? Different truths staring each other in the face from a totally opposite perspective, and each one feeling like they're a real truth. So, what's the emes la'amito in that situation? The emes la'amito, the real truth. The real truth is maybe not to say anything, but certainly in understanding it, the real truth is that if both of those parties would step back and say, you know, I'm feeling very, very upset at this situation right now. And, I think it's because it's happened many times, and really, I'm not feeling very good about myself because of this and that and this and that. And the other person would say, I'm kind of feeling the same way. We've experienced these kind of things before, and I'm feeling kind of down, and I'm not happy with myself because I have not been living up to my own expectations. And all these things are making me feel this certain way. And so, because of that, I exploded. And I got my guard up, and we started to fight. But really, what's the emes la'amitai? It's just Hashem. And just that we are not meant to be in this situation. We're meant to have total truth with one another. And now we start to unravel a deeper truth. Really, we're not mad at each other. We feel bad about ourselves, and there's a lot of layers here, and we don't have to fight. And really, Hashem wants us to be together. And every time we make separations in this world, we cause separations to take place in the upper worlds. And when we come together in this world, we cause things to come together in the upper worlds. It's all a reflection, and it's all beautiful, right? But these two aspects take us out from the world of connection to Hashem. Take us out from the world of connection to Hashem. So, if emes is a big concept, and serious emes means that this is my life, not just something to think about. This is my life. My life is emes, my life is truth. Then, every one of these little aspects, if I take myself out of that situation and take away the personal deficiencies and tie it back to Hashem in every situation, I'm now bringing a very deep level of truth into the world. And you can see that it's totally connected with emunah, right? Knowing at every moment with emunah that Hashem runs the world and that everything is meant for me and everything is meant for my good means that I'm always going to step back and see, what am I missing, right? I don't know everything. What am I missing? Where is my truth lacking? Where can I find the deeper truth? Where can I see the deeper truth in everything? They're really totally interconnected. You hear this? Mind-blowing. So Rebbe Nachman brings down one other, so we can see how ego can take us away from truth. Everybody feel that? I feel that's a very strong, powerful detractor of truth. There's another one, which is very connected to ego. Rebbe Nachman brings down Torah Kuf Chaf Beis 122. And it's the concept of nitzachon. Okay? Nitzachon means I'm going to call it the need to win. Right? Terrible, terrible problem. It says like this. He's going on the pasuk, V'gam netzach Yisrael lo yishaker. The netzach of Yisrael. So what it really means, that pasuk, in simple meaning, means the eternity of the Jewish people does not lie. Right? But he says like this. Listen to this. Ki zeh yadua. Because it's known. Shemidas ha-nitzachon, that the midah of nitzachon, of needing to win, eina soiveles ha-emes, cannot handle truth. The need to win cannot handle truth. Ki im yera le'enayim davar emes, because even if even if a person will see with their eyes something that's total emes, yidche esoi machmas ha-nitzachon, they're going to push it away because of this nitzachon, this need to win. And it's obvious. We see this. It's very clear. Right? So, meaning what? Just think about this. By the way, BRI, Crossing the Narrow Bridge, essential Breslov reading for sure. But if you look in the where he's talking about truth, he brings down this concept of nitzachon over here in a very clear way. But just imagine this. You're in an argument, right? Or you're in a situation. Let's not even go to argument. You're in a situation, and you have two opposing ritzonos, two opposing wills or desires. Because remember, in the realm of only Hashem, there's only truth. But here now we have two opposing ritzonos, two opposing wills. And they're looking at a situation. And someone, you're going into this with this midah of nitzachon. I need to be the winner. I need to win this argument. I need to come out successful in the situation. And someone wraps it up and throws a truth bomb right in your face. That's total truth. And you look at it, and if it makes it into your mind, you see, oh my gosh, that person is saying total emes, and they're totally right. Right? Maybe that will go into your mind. So what does the midah of nitzachon do? It either pushes it off and says, I can't, like Rebbe Nachman said, eino soveles es emes, it can't handle it. So, and it will just push that aside and say no, and fight for the wrong thing. Fight for sheker. That's what happens, right? Or Best case scenario is that in the same situation, you would take that truth and now distort it and say, oh yeah, well that's really what I'm saying. Well, that's really the way I also feel. So, because you can't handle the fact that you might be defeated and you might not have the nitzachon, the dan notzach, that I won, I'm winning, right? This is also a tremendous detractor for emes. So with these in mind, we can see what Rebbe Nachman is giving us over here. And I hope we can all feel this very strongly and put it into practice. That emunah and emes, according to Rebbe Nachman, and just according to anyone who thinks about it, is a way of life. And in Sefer HaMidos, Rebbe Nachman brings down that a person should be attached to the truth. Even little things should never lie. Always be saying the truth. Making sure every little thing that I'm doing has truth to it. Yes, the very next line in Sefer HaMidos says that for peace, shalom, you can change things. So you have to know exactly how those things work together. But generally speaking, in your everyday life and every moment of our lives, we should be connecting to emes and connecting to truth. And even little tiny things. Why? Why go to sheker? The Gemara says, "Chosmoi shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu emes." The signature, the seal of Hashem is truth. Every time we go into sheker, even little things, we're just separating ourselves from Hashem. So always looking out for emes, always moving towards emes, is just it's a way of life, and it's hand in hand with emunah. And now we're saying this amazing concept that if you really want to connect to emes, you got to connect to a tzaddik. Why? Because just like we're talking about, everyone has tons of subjectivities. And the way that I see the world is clouded by my own midos. It's clouded by my arrogance. It's clouded by my need to win. It's clouded by everything that's ever happened to me. I can't, for sure, completely see 100% emes. Connecting to a tzaddik. A tzaddik is a person who is able to connect to the upper realms and to go way, way up there and look down and see a vision of emes that we could never see. Maybe one day, Bez Hashem, right? But that we don't currently see. They are a source of emes, and they are able to pull us out of our messed up, cloudy, sheker-ridden lives, right? And even if we're trying really hard, even if we're trying to be people of emes, they still have a level of emes that's way above ours. And so they can pull us up, and they can help us to live with a stronger truth and be more connected to it. You see, you hear what I'm saying? This is the path, a little in between the lines of what we read about what's going on with these concepts and why they're so intimately connected, right? And a tzaddik has the power, the ability to give us advice that's truth, and to have it come into us like a living being, like something that can grow within me and can change me and turn me into a person of emes. You hear this? It's almost unbelievable. So this is where we're holding now in this Torah, with a little bit of extra spice. You feel that? Those concepts?
But for shalom bayis,
yeah.
Can you forget? Let emes go.
You gotta be very careful. Listen, it's Rebbe Nachman himself says very clear. The Gemara says, but Rebbe Nachman brings it down. I'm telling you, in Sefer HaMidos, the first thing he says is you must be like a slave to the truth. Every little thing has to be truth. And then the very next thing he says is mutar l'shanos mipnei hashalom, that you can change things up a little bit for peace, right? So, walking a fine line, the best thing is to stick to emes as much as possible, and whenever we can, always. And maybe if you need to change things up a little bit, you think you need to change things up a little bit, that's when you have your tzaddikim. That's when you have that's when you have a rav, you have a tzaddik, you have people who are a little bit more outside of your situation and a little bit more connected, who can give you advice when to, maybe here you should do that. Here, no, you shouldn't do that. A tzaddik is able to see, you know what, you have to tell the truth here because you need to go through something right now. It's meant for you. You got to do this. And other times, maybe not. But I would say err on the side of truth for sure. And that's where we're holding. Any questions before we move on? No? Okay, let's go. Dalet, page 14 in the English. Ois Dalet in the Hebrew. Like this. Da, v'da. Shal yedei mitzvahs tzitzis ha'adam nitzol me'atzas hanachash. And you should know that it's through the mitzvah of tzitzis that a person is saved from the advice of the nachash. Minasuyin shel rasha, from the marriage, the coming together with a rasha, with an evil entity. Mibechinas niuf, with having an adulterous relationship with this evil entity. So as we said, if you remember, that advice is like a physical sexual relationship in a certain sense, right? Figuratively. And because of what it does. And if you remember that the snake had this relationship with Chava, had this relationship with Eve in Gan Eden, and implanted within her his seed of impurity, which was taken away, if you remember, at Har Sinai when we received the Torah, which was 613 pieces of advice, right? Advice, zeras emes, truth. Advice. So the evil, tumah, dirty, impure advice of the snake was only wiped out with the 613 pieces of true advice of the Torah. And that was like a marriage relationship. It's like an adulterous marriage relationship between the snake and Chava. So why did tzitzis fix that? Because tzitzis are called shmira leniuf. Tzitzis are a guard, a protection against adulterous, immoral sexual relationships. Kamu batikunim. So first of all, before we get to the tikkunim, fine, let's do the tikkunim. So Tikkun Azar says like this: Vayikach Shem v'Yafes es hasimla v'yasimu al Shechem shnehem. So Shem v'Yafes, the two sons of Noach, of Noah from the ark. So everybody knows the story. What happened after the Teva, the ark landed? The water's all gone, right? So Noach gets out, and he's distraught by what he sees, that there's nothing left, according to some ways of understanding it. And so what does he do? He plants a vineyard. The first thing he does, he plants a vineyard, takes the grapes, makes wine, and gets super drunk. And basically is like off his feet drunk. And his clothes are on. So the way the story goes, according to the Medrash, that we don't all hear when we're in SK, is that his son Cham came in and sodomized him and castrated him. Yeah. In that situation. And then his two sons, Shem and Yafes, came and they took a garment. It says, V'yikach Shem v'Yafes hasimla. They took a garment and they put it on their shoulders and walked backwards so they wouldn't see their father in this state, and covered him with this garment. Okay. So the Tikkun Ezra says over there that this was, the garment is referring to tzitzis. Mm-hmm. So in order to block out that situation, to not be involved in that type of situation, they covered themselves with a garment with tzitzis on it. And so they didn't see the nakedness of their father. Ki tzitzis mechase al arayin, because tzitzis cover over immoral relations. Arayin, arayas. This is what tzitzis does. Aval Cham, dehu Yetzirah, but Cham is in a deeper level connected to the Yetzirah. Why? What's his name? Cham. Who knows Hebrew? What does Cham mean? Hot. Why is he called Cham? The mechamem gufa devar nash be'aveira, because he heats up the body of a person with aveira. You know, if you, especially by type, let's say anger, sexual desire for food, all these things. What happens when you get going in that? You get all heated up, and your blood starts to boil. Right? This is what Cham refers to, the Yetzirah, negativity. Hu arur, he was cursed. Kamesha Kasav, Arur Canaan, like the pasuk says over there, Arur Canaan, who was the son of Cham, by the way, who was the one who came and told him and brought him there, he was cursed. So all of the offspring of Cham are cursed. Kamesha Kasav, Arurata Mikol HaBehema. You are cursed more than all of the animals. That is going on the snake. Who are the two people that are cursed in Sefer Bereshis? People, the two entities that are cursed. Sefer Bereshis, the snake and Cham and Canaan, right? Meaning these two situations where there was sexual immorality taking place and very deep spiritual immorality and impurity happening at the same time, those two places are where the Torah says they're cursed. By the snake in the Garden of Eden and by Cham, who did this to his father in this situation. Yeah, his son, Canaan, yeah. Vasimla, hainu tzitzis, and the garment, which was the tzitzis, who shmira me'atzis anachash. That is a guarding, that's a shmira, a protection from this advice of the snake, mizuhamas anachash, from the tuma, the impurity of the snake. That's what this garment does. So this is the concept of tzitzis. We also know, I'm sure everybody has heard before, there's a famous story in the Gemara where one of the big tzaddikim, one of the Amoraim, I believe, one of the Amoraim, there was a situation where they what's the word? You do the captives, they redeemed some captives and some young lady captives, and they needed to be housed in a place. And so one of the places where the ladies were housed was in the like attic sort of this tzaddik's house. And this tzaddik, his name was Amram, yeah. So the tzaddik looked up and caught a glimpse of one of these ladies, just so you know that no one is immune from this, not even big tzaddikim. He looked up, one of the Amoraim, like way beyond anything we can imagine. He looked up and got a glimpse of this lady and was like so taken and so on a very, very deep level struck by her that he started to go and climb up the ladder to go and do something that he shouldn't be doing with her. And the way that the Gemara brings it down is his tzitzis hit him, a wind blew, his tzitzis hit him in the face, and he ran out of the house into the town square and started screaming, Nura b'vei Amram! Nura, there's a fire in the house of Amram! A fire in the house of Amram! And then all the people came running and they saw what happened. He was much happier to get that embarrassment, to be, have bizyonis in front of everybody than he would have been if he would have went through the act and actually done what he shouldn't have been doing, right? And so, first of all, in that situation also the Gemara brings down, he was saved by the situation from his garment, which is again we're saying over here. And also, what did he say? He said, Nura b'vei Amram, there's a fire in the house of Amram, which is just like Cham we're saying over here. Cham was mechamim. The desire for these things heats up the body, right? Totally amazing. Yeah. That's right. So this is the aspect of the another thing we see, just a very quick, beautiful idea. I remember seeing this many years ago from Rebbe Kaplan. Why the tzitzis have to be tied to a garment? Right? Pasuk says, Vasulahem tzitzis al kanfei vigdehem l'darisam, on the corner of your garments put tzitzis, right? Why not on the, Jews like to wear hats, right? Why not on the edges of your hat tie tzitzis? Why not, make something else up. Why not on the back of your shoes, whatever, on your wagon? Right? Why does it have to be on your garment, right? So one of the things that Rebbe Kaplan brings down over there, beautiful, is that, clothing is one of the things that separates us from animals. Language, clothing, the ability to speak, and the fact that we wear clothing are two major things that separate us from animals. And it's bedavka in this thing that we have to put tzitzis, that we have to tie to remember that we're different, right? Because the way that we can be pulled after these desires and after these urges is basically, that's what we call it in regular English, right? It's an animalistic urge, right? It's like an animal. If I want to be, tzitzis are telling me that I'm a different person. I'm a different level than an animal. I have a neshama. I have a connection to Hashem. I have the ability to control my actions in a way that create holiness in the world. And so tzitzis are on a beged, and this is what the children of Noach put on their backs, and this is what stopped the situation. I think also, I didn't see this written anywhere, but I was thinking, also you see in Gan Eden, right after the Nachash, what happens? Hashem gave them clothing, also, begadim, right? So you see, in both situations, there's an aspect of clothing that's of a beged that's taking away the problem. Okay, so let's see now. this concept of tzitzis. How do we see? I like any more Hebrew experts here to see if they know this one. V'zeh b'chinas ben poras ale ayin. So pasuk says that ben poras Yosef, that Yosef HaTzadik became very fruitful. So poras is from the lashon of pru or of being fruitful, like a pri, like a fruit, right? So ben poras ale ayin means he translates it here, Reb Chaim Kramer, as a fruitful bough by a well. I think that means like a fruitful tree, branch, whatever, right? But ale ayin means like pleasing to the eye, really. Okay. So ale ayin, it can be spring, by a well, or ale ayin. Ayin is the same word as eye. So why? What does this mean? Bishvil tzitzis, because of tzitzis. In other words, Yosef HaTzadik was a tzaddik. He was fruitful, and he lived as a tzaddik because of the concept of tzitzis. How do we see such a thing? Lashon, because the pasuk says in Shir Hashirim, Meitzitz min hacharakim. So I think Reb Chaim tracks it as he peered out, looked through the cracks, right? I've seen another lashon of charakim in a translation being through a lattice, peered through the cracks, right? But meitzitz, I had to double check this one. I went to look in many different dictionaries. Meitzitz is a lashon of looking, of peering, looking, right? So the tzitzis are called tzitzis, tzadik yud tzadik, right? And the lashon, the verb of tzadik yud tzadik, meitzitz, means to look, means to use your eyes, right? So tzitzis, now we're seeing, are really connected through the Hebrew language to the concept of eyes and seeing. So al yadei zeh zachal levein poras. It's through the fact that he had tzitzis, which are connected to the eyes, that he was able to become fruitful and to be a tzaddik. Shenishmar minesuin shel nachash, that he saved himself from the advice of the snake, the negative advice of the snake, mizivug shel sitra achra, from this impure relationship, like quasi sexual relationship with the sitra achra, v'zachal zivug de kedusha, and he merited to have a zivug de kedusha again. He merited to have a marriage partner who was holy. And you see also, I don't know if once again, I'm not sure if this. No, I didn't see anyone bring this down. But what happened to Yosef over there when he was attacked by Potiphar's wife and she was trying to force him to have an adulterous relationship? What happened? Remember? What happened? Who said that? He saw his father. He saw a vision of his father, right? With his eyes, he saw a vision of his father. Tzitzis is related to sight in this way. Let's see what he says over here. V'zeh Puras. And this is what this pasuk is saying. Puras is a lashon of zivug, meaning to be fruitful, pru or vu. That means having a physical relationship and multiplying, right? So ben puras ale ayin. Ikar haniuf talui beinayim. The main aspect of niuf, of the main source of immoral relationships, physical relationships, adulterous relationships, is dependent on the eyes. K'moshe amru. Like the pasuk says the Gemara in Sotah says, Shimshon, halach achar einav, Shimshon HaGibor, Samson, right? When he went after Delilah, Samson and Delilah, right? He went after her. It says over that he saw her. He was taken by his eyes with her. The Gemara says he went after his eyes, right? It's meaning that's where it all started. There's another place. I don't know if it's in the Zohar or the Gemara, says that the Einayim roin, v'halev chomed, v'klei maisa, and so the eyes see, then the heart desires, and then the physical limbs take out the action, right? Meaning it starts with the eyes. It's all totally in the eyes, depending on the eyes. Shimshon saw with his eyes first, and then went and did what he did. What does the pasuk say? Now check this out. This is gorgeous. Pasuk says in Bamidbar. Everyone knows this pasuk. V'loi sasuru achrei levavechem v'achrei einechem. Pasuk says in Kriyas Shema, third paragraph of the Kriyas Shema, don't stray after your heart and after your eyes, right? So the Gemara explains over there, if I remember correctly, that after your heart refers to idolatry, and after your eyes refers to immoral relations, right? So the Kriya Shema itself is telling us that Einechem is talking about immoral physical relationships, right? Connected exactly to everything that we're talking about. Lo yisasur rachalav machar einechem ushmiras tzitzis, and the guarding, the power of the protection of tzitzis, shu bechinas einayim, which is connected to the eyes. Hu shmira me'atas hanachash. It saves us from the advice of the snake. It saves us from the negativity and this bringing tuma into ourselves from the advice from a rasha. And then we're able to receive advice from a tzaddik. Shu kuloi zera emes, and the tzaddik is completely zera emes, is seed of truth that a tzaddik can implant within us. So, just think about this. This is totally amazing. What did we just read? Probably a few of you totally put this together. But we're saying over here that in the parsha of tzitzis that we say every day in Kriya Shema, right? It says, don't follow after your eyes. Don't get pulled after your eyes to immoral sexual relations. What is the main topic of that parsha? The main topic of that parsha is tzitzis. Right? The only reason that we say that parsha is because of, Yitzias Mitzrayim, but the main topic of that parsha is tzitzis. Right? So within the very commandment of tzitzis, we have, don't follow after your eyes. You hear what the Torah is telling us. Don't go after your eyes. Don't fall into these relationships. What do you should do instead? Tzitzis. Right? Use the mitzvah of tzitzis to save yourself. And beyond that, we also have, what's the very beginning of this whole Torah? What's everything leading to? This whole path that we're working on? Everything, we're going from emunah, nisim, tefillah, emes, tzaddik, and then ultimately Israel. Ultimately the ultimate geula, right? And what's that parsha? What's the main reason why we say that parsha two times a day? Is because it's the parsha of geula, of Yitzias Mitzrayim. So right within that one paragraph that we say every day is don't get involved in immoral sexual relations, do tzitzis, and remember that Hashem is our goel. Hashem redeems us from bondage. That's going to be the ultimate redeemer. So everything is wrapped up in that one parsha, right? So, Bezos Hashem, tonight when you say Kriya Shema, you can have some additional kavanah that we don't always have. Bezos Hashem. Okay, everybody with me on this? Gavaldik, no? Whoa.
Those are the pressures on the men, of course, but the men were
Okay, this is a very good point. I've been thinking about this all day today.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't think you would bring it up, but okay. So since you brought it up, let's just talk about it for a second. That's tzitzis is only for men, right? Any ideas?
Men are visual. Men are more susceptible to stray.
Says Marcia, men are more susceptible to stray. Without getting into any arguments, I think she's totally, absolutely right.
Yeah. When we were at Sinai,
yeah.
we didn't do anything wrong.
You guys are always doing the right thing. We know, okay? The women are always doing the right thing. They're always saving us. They're taking their mirrors and doing what they're supposed to do. And Chodesh. Yeah. For sure. The doctor said that...
So, one of the main differences between men and women are visual animals.
Wow.
Survival.
Is that why there's so many men?
You hear this?
And women are social animals. They rely much more on touch and on auditory.
So that's super gavaldik, because we're hearing that men are more visually oriented in this realm, and this concept of tzitzis we're bringing together is directly connected to eyes and vision.
That's why you see
and
don't look at women.
Right.
Is this why?
You hear what he's saying? Because you have to see them. The pasuk says in the Shema, you'll see it, and you will remember the mitzvahs of Hashem. You'll see the tzitzis.
That's we don't worry
Well,
about.
you'll see the string of techelis is really saying. But,
If you see in nature, for instance, if a bull was to see a cow, it's going to go through the wall, to go through. So Hashem, because we're commanded to procreate,
right.
Hashem instilled the man with that huge Yetzirah, this
Right.
desire to receive for oneself alone, that women don't have as much. So a guy has to do all this stuff, all this mitzvah just to balance that out. Like
Right.
the Zohar says a guy has to get married.
Very
It's
good.
the only way he can overcome his desire to receive for himself alone. Women are really not obligated
Right.
the same way to get married. I mean, they usually get married just to help their soulmate
Right.
with his correction, like according to the Zohar.
We thank you all very much.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, thank you very much. So the point is, men have this stronger desire to receive.
Yes.
Otherwise, nothing would happen.
Right.
There wouldn't be any offspring. There wouldn't be because no one would care, right?
So the other doctor, Alan, is saying over here that there's that the men have a intrinsically more powerful drive in this realm, and also you see that we're the ones that are commanded to do this because
we get it honestly.
because-
We don't buy it honestly.
yeah.
It comes right from Hashem.
And it's the reason we have all these mitzvahs to do to balance out this tremendous drive that we have and whatnot. But besides that, okay, I think everyone just intrinsically probably understands this. Yeah.
So I would say that it's because it comes from, that men come from Chokhmah, and because of the seed that they actually, there's
Right.
nothing but seed. So because of something connected to this idea of Chokhmah, the idea of that they're the ones who have to protect themselves from this,
Yeah, for
for
sure.
many reasons.
In Kabbalah, yeah. So Esther's saying that men are connected to Chachma, and as we know in the deeper understandings of Kabbalah, Chachma is a mashpia. Chachma is a gives forth, and Bina is a makabel, is a receiver. So in that, so too, and it's built into our natures also that men are a mashpia, are giving out flow, and that women receive it, and it happens in the way that obviously that babies are created. This is the way we are. That the male contribution is is like short, and then a woman takes this in and beanifies it for 9 months and like does her thing, right? And like this is what a woman does. She takes it in and she builds and grows, and she's not focused on just all this crazy stuff that we're focused on. And we got to work on it. Men have to work on bina, definitely. Okay, so that's let's just say this quickly. This Rabbi Bar Bar Chana, and then we'll finish. Okay, so everything that we've said, we can now see in this story of Rabbi Bar Bar Chana. We're now on Rabbi Bar Bar Chana's story number 7 of the 15 that there are in the Likutei Moharan, and it's a short one, so we'll finish it very quickly. It goes like this. V'zeh perush, and this is the explanation of Amar Rabbi Bar Bar Chana. Rabbi Bar Bar Chana said, Amar liyahu taya. This certain Arab merchant said to me, Ta achvelach Tura de Sinai. Come, and I will show you Har Sinai. So this merchant knew where Har Sinai was. Azli v'chazai da'adran le akrabe v'kaimin ki chamri chivrasa. So he went over there, and he saw that it was surrounded by scorpions, let's say scorpions and snakes, and they were standing, these scorpions, as tall as white mules, white donkey mules. V'shamati baskol shemeres, and I heard a heavenly voice that said, Oy li shenishbati, Oy to me, said Hashem, that I swore, meaning that I swore to send my children into Gullus. V'achshav shenishbati, and now that I swore to send my children to Gullus, mi meferli, who can undo my oath? That's the story. So the Rashbam over there explains, Shenishbati means that I swore, if you look on the side, that I swore them min hagalus, to put them into Gullus. K'tichtiv karit tu b'nevim. And we've seen this many places in the prophets. So how do we explain this according to everything we've seen so far? So, Ta v'achve lach Tura de Sinai, come and I'll show you Har Sinai. He said, Shehu b'chinas eitzois. As we said, that's the aspect of advice. Kisham kiblu taryag itin, because there we received the 613 what? Mitzvahs, which the Zohar calls the 613 pieces of advice. Pieces of advice to what? Devekis. 613 pieces of advice of how to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what the 613 mitzvahs are, says the Torah. Not means to an end on their own. Sorry, not an end on their own. Rather, a means to the end of Devekis. They're just pieces of advice. You want to be connected to Hashem? You want to have Devekis? Here's your guidebook. This is what you have to do. Those were the 613 pieces of advice. Chazai da'adran le akrabai. I saw that they were surrounded, that it was surrounded by scorpions. and snakes. So Reb Chaim explains over here that in the in the Tikkunei Zohar, it explains that the Satan is represented by a nachash, by a snake, and his wife, starts with Lamed, the lady, evil force that starts with Lamed, is a scorpion. So what it refers to is basically Har Sinai was surrounded by scorpions, meaning what? Negative spiritual forces trying to stop that connection to total truth and total beautiful advice to connect to Hashem. That's what's going on over here. Hainu, sheyesh atzas anachash. So what happens over here? We came around to Har Sinai and we saw that, but no, there's the snake trying to give his eitzah and to stop us. Atzas Rashayim, the eitzah of Rashayim, the advice of evil people. Shayedehem ein yecholim lakabel atzas tzadikim. That through them we cannot receive, because of them we can't receive the eitzah, the advice from tzadikim. Zera emes, which is seed of truth. They're blocking us out. They're blocking us between Har Sinai and the true advice. And they were standing up as tall as white mules. Okay, here we go. This is referring to the concept of tzitzis. How do we see such a thing? Because that is what saves us, what protects us and guards us from the evil tumadika, yucky advice of the snake, and from niuf, from immoral relations. Like Chazal say, the Gemara Menacha says, which punishment is greater? The punishment on the white strings of the tzitzis or on the blue string of the tzitzis? So it's like this. If you don't perform the mitzvah properly, there's white strings and a blue string in the tzitzis, right? And they're two separate mitzvahs, really. They're two individual things that you accomplish. So which one has a greater punishment? If you don't do the white or you don't do the blue, right? The Gemara says, a mashal to a person who asked another person to bring him, let's call it a king. A king asked the person to bring him a thing of gold. What of gold? A seal made of gold. Hainu techelis. That's referring to techelis. V'choisam shel tit, and a seal made of like cement. Hainu lavan, clay, cement. That's referring to the white strings. Why? Because techelis is very rare and very, very hard to get. You got to take the snail and you got to crack it open and you got to take the blood and do this whole procedure to make the techelis. It's not easy. White strings you can get anywhere. So the techelis is like gold and the white is like just plain old clay, right? So which one of it has a punishment greater? And it comes out, obviously. No, the punishment is much greater for the white. Yeah, because the white is easy. If you don't do that, what's wrong with you? If you don't do the blue one, okay, I get it. It's very hard to get it. You may have an excuse. But for the white, no way, right? And that doesn't matter. That's not the point over here. The answer of the Gemara is not over here. But what's important to us over here? V'zeu. What's another word for tit, for this stuff that's called clay or mortar? So you hear it in the Torah all over the place. Chomer v'tit. Chomer v'tit. It's like the stuff between bricks. Mortar. Right? Mortar. So it's called chomer also. So the Rabbi Baruch Hana story is saying v'kaimi ki chamre. That's lashon chomer. So that's the white, right? Lashon chomer v'tit chivra hainula, and the word chivra means lavan, means white. Ki achshav ze ikar tzitzis, because nowadays, back then anyway, that was the main aspect of tzitzis. We only had the white thing. So the v'kaimu. So we came to Har Sinai. He showed us Har Sinai, which is the eitzah and the zera emes. It's the truth that we want to connect to. That's going to bring us geula and bring us emunah and bring us everything we need. And it's surrounded by scorpions. It's surrounded by negative forces trying to stop us from connecting to emes. Right? So what protects us? V'kaimu. And we were held up. We were able to get through this through what? Through the white of the tzitzis. Tzitzis is what saved us from this concept of tzitzis. V'shamati baskol she'emeres, and I heard a baskol, I heard this voice from heaven saying, Oy li shenishbati, oy li shenishbati, oy to me, says Hashem, that I sent my children into Gullus. Perush Rabbeinu Shmuel says, Al Gullus, hainu, al yedei tzitzis. So what does it mean? The whole Torah is now coming together. Through tzitzis, yicholin lavoy latzas tzadikim. Through tzitzis, we can come to the truth and the advice of tzadikim. L'bichanas emes. V'alidei emes, and through emes, we're able to come to emunah. V'alidei emunah, baha geula. And it's through emunah that we're ultimately going to see our full redemption. V'zeh Sheshama charatas Hashem yisborach al hagalus. And this is why, at this point in this story, why did that bas kol come right now in this story? What does it have anything to do with what's happening over here? Right? Because every step of this story is exactly what we need to get to Geula. And because of that, Hashem says, Oi, this is your recipe to get out of Galus, to be redeemed from exile. Oi li shenishbati, Oi li that I sent my children into Galus. Right? It all comes together so perfectly and beautifully. Ki hatzitzis shehem chamrei chivra garam kol zeh. The tzitzis that do this is what accomplishes all of this. So the last thing I want to say, just about tzitzis and ladies and women, right, is that we have a commandment. We have to wear our tzitzis, right? We have to do it. But really, the way, because I always want to think about how can a lady connect to this also? How can everyone see this concept, right? So, something like that. But really, what are we saying over here? We're really saying that it's all an aspect of this whole mindset and this whole existence. Tzitzis is the thing that it's just really, for us, it's a reminder. It's something to keep us on track of emes, right? It's just an aspect of putting us on the track of emes, to always be looking for truth and always be staying away from those evil impurities, negative forces that are trying to pull us away from truth. And everybody has them in their lives, right? Even in relationships, we have them. There's different people in our lives represented. And then there's big picture things that are holding us back as a person from getting to emes, to truth, and to getting to emunah, right? So the tzitzis, especially for us men, as we've discussed, we need it more, right? They're meant to keep us on this track. So for a lady hearing this, first of all, you should thank yourself that you, I'll just tell you something really funny. This is hilarious. Someone told me once, a pshat, in the, the bracha, it's sort of a joke, but not really. The bracha, so a man says in the morning, Shaleh Sani Isha. Thank you, Hashem, that you didn't make me a lady, right? And, well, that's what you guys should say, and ladies say, thank you, Hashem, that you made me according to your will, right? So someone told me this pshat, I think Rav Dror told me this pshat way back when. He said that one of the things, as Alan was saying, is that Chava made her tikkun already. And she didn't have to come back. Female kind didn't necessarily have to come back into existence. Adam had to make a tikkun. And we're still making the tikkun of Adam Rishon, right? So why did Chava come back? Why did the female aspect come back into existence over and over again? Only to help Adam Rishon, to help to help men make their tikkun. Total chesed, right? This is what the doctor was mentioning earlier. And what does that mean? So they're coming here to help us, and you guys have to deal with us. all you're here for is to help us out, to make our tikkun. It's all chesed. It's all giving. It's all meant to help us with our tikkun, right? And what do? Whatever we do what we do. Sometimes we're trying hard, but sometimes we're not, right? So, Baruch Atah Hashem, a man said, Shelo Esani Isha, right? If a man would really think this, thank you that you didn't make me a woman, that I would have to deal with people like me. That I would have to deal with this tikkun and be underappreciated for what I'm really doing, right? If anyone, you read a lot of Rebbe Nachman's Torah, but certainly if you read Rabbi Arush's Torah on what it means to be a husband and what life really is all about, you will see that your wife, everything that comes from her is meant for you as a message. Everything is for your good, and you just got to figure out, what you're doing wrong, and basically how to man up in a proper way. So once again, it's the same concept of why we need the tzitzis, why we need this going on, and the women are more able to focus on emunah. By the way, we're going to see soon in the very end of this Torah, which we just about got to today, that it's going to talk about that man represents emes and woman represents emunah. Right? There's more of an intrinsic connection on both of those sides, and it's because of this that women. Rebbe Nachman says in another place that if you want to learn emunah, go see what the women are doing, because women are generally more strong with emunah and more connected to emunah. So with all that, I believe that this is a way. Then everyone is meant to go into Likutei Moharan and take out for themselves and go deep into it and understand things for themselves. So ladies, go into this and figure out what tzitzis might mean to you, also on a deeper level, what this concept might mean. But I think this is a very good place to start.